Carey Hodsden PGA here. Another quick lesson with Common Sense Golf. I want to talk about how to get consistent. Okay, we've done a whole bunch of different lessons on swing mechanics and things of that nature. I want to also do kind of a battery of lessons on how to focus. That's one of the things we're going to talk about in another lesson. And then also things like pre-shot routine and why we do the pre-shot routine the way we do it. Okay, what is the goal, behind a pre-shot routine? And I think I don't know that a lot of people really understand what the real goal behind that is. Okay, it's not always just it's not just about lining the shot up and making sure everything's perfect, right? It's more about focus, repeatability, habit. Okay, setting yourself up to do something that's familiar every single time, so that once you get into kind of that mode where you do it the same every single time, then it just becomes second nature. It becomes habit, okay? Especially with the act of striking the golf ball. Now, a lot of people will say, okay, well, I'm going to do this in the pre-shot routine, and or some other guys might say, I don't really care, exactly how my pre-shot routine is, because I'm a good ball striker and I don't really need to worry about that. But that's just not true. That's just not true. You do need to worry about it. You need to try to create the same type of pre-shot routine every single time. And not only that, the pre-shot routine needs to take the same amount of time every single time. Okay? Now, you'll watch television and you'll watch some of the Golf Channel or some of the big tournaments on the major networks or whatever have you, on the PGA Tour and the Champions Tour, European Tour, whatever, Ladies Tour, and you go through and you see a whole bunch of different pre-shot routines. Some people seem like they're taking a little bit longer. Some people seems like it's going a little bit quicker, right? My suggestion is that your pre-shot routine starts at a specific moment, almost like a swing trigger. Okay, in other words, you guys have seen where a guy like Jack Nicklaus will stand up and he'll get ready to hit the golf ball, right? And then his head moves this way, and then he pulls the club back. Or Hogan or Snead, they kick their right knee a little bit, and then they pull the club back. Okay, that's kind of a swing trigger to get your swing started. I also think you need that type of trigger with a pre-shot routine. Okay, there's a million different ways to do a pre-shot routine, so I'm just going to show you mine, and then I'm going to show you what my triggers are. Okay, so I can be hanging out and I can be talking to the fellas and I can be saying, okay, hey guys, we're waiting on the people to clear out of the fairway and it's my turn to go, or whatever, clear off the green on a par 3 and it's my turn to go. And I kind of walk around. I might be talking with them. I might take a few swings here and there just to try to stay loose and that type of thing. But once I get in and I get ready to attack the golf ball, I've got to lock in. And my time needs to be exactly the same every single time. So I'm going to show you what I do. I go behind the golf ball, right? And you're going to see the back of me here for a little while. Don't worry about that. I go behind the golf ball and I pick out a point the old Jack Nicklaus way. I pick out a point between me and the target, okay? Usually just a few feet in front of me, something in this area right here. I'll pick out a spot. What I do is I take my golf club, and if you've ever watched players like Lee Janzen, who won a couple of U.S. Opens, tremendous player, he did a really good job of this. What he would do is he would take the club, line it up with the ball, right, and line it up with the target way out there, whatever that target may be. Let's say it's the X right in front of us. He'd take the club and the ball, and he'd line it up with that X. Then he would find a place in between that lined up area just in front of his golf ball that is also in line with the club, okay? And he would pick out that spot and then aim his club at that spot and forget about everything else, okay? That was good. That's really, really good. That's a really good way to do it. This is a straight line. You can line your ball up and line the target up, and then you can pick out a spot just a few feet that's right in line with the club as well, and then you can line up, okay? When I get ready to start, I walk behind the ball. I look at my target line like that, okay, and then I go ahead and line up to try to find my spot. That's my trigger. When I start my pre-shot routine, when I'm doing that, that's when I'm starting my pre-shot routine, when I get ready to line it up this way. So I get behind the ball, I line it up, I say, okay, I've picked out my spot. My spot's going to be right in here, okay, little white spot on the ground. I line my club up to that spot, okay, perpendicular, right, the bottom scoring line. See if you guys can see this. The bottom scoring line, there's a white line down here, and some of us have a white line and some of us don't, okay, on our clubs. That bottom scoring line is perpendicular to the target line, okay, perpendicular, 90 degrees, okay? So this line's going to go this way, and 90 degrees is that way, okay? So I'm going to line that sucker up right there, perpendicular to my target line that I've picked out. Then I'm going to take my grip, okay? Then I'm going to take my feet and put the ball in the position I want it in my stance and make sure that I'm the right distance from the golf ball, okay? Once that happens, I'm going to take a couple little waggles to feel my release. I like to feel the release, how it's going to feel when I release. So my waggles are like that, okay? Then I take I will take my first look down the line when I'm waggling. Then I set it down, make sure that my feet are right with the type of shot that I want, and I'm in good stance. I look a couple more times at the target, okay? Then my club bounces up and down 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and then I pull the thing back and I go, okay? I do it the same way every time, okay? That way I don't have to think about all the other things. Now, as far as the shot's concerned, what type of shot I'm going to hit, all of that happens before I start the pre-shot routine, okay? So you could say that this is all part of the pre-shot routine, but really all of the decisions I'm getting ready to tell you about are made very, very quickly when I get to the golf ball. So let's say I'm walking down the fairway, I get to the golf ball, I'm in a tournament, and I see the golf ball. The first thing I do is walk up to it, I look at it, and I see what kind of lie I have, okay? I look out there to my target to see if I'm going uphill or downhill, see if I've got anything in my way, you know, or if I've got water I got to go over, or bunkers or trees around, or whatever the case is. Then I usually look at my yardage book if I have one, or I look at maybe, you know, you guys on these carts now, you've got these GPS systems that are like electronic yardage books, which are absolutely incredible. I can tap that, figure out how long I have over different areas, or how you know, where I can hit it to without going into a hazard or something like that. Then I pick where I want to aim from there, and I pick what type of club I want to use and what type of shot I want to use well before I ever start my pre-shot routine, okay? So I go over there, I look at my ball, I say, okay, I'm going a pretty flat shot, maybe a little bit uphill. I look and see what my lie is like. My lie is good. I should be okay, all right? So I think I got about 170 yards. So I look at my target line, make sure I've got nothing else in the way. I go over to my bag, I pull out my 170 club for that day. That depends on the temperature. That depends on the wind. That depends on what type of shot I'm trying to hit. Could be a knockdown, could be a full shot. I could be overswinging to try to use a shorter club to get as much of it as I can out to kind of take the nervousness away from trying to hit a knockdown shot or something like that. Could be a million different things, okay? But I will pick the right club. Once I pick the right club, you know, that's when I'm trying to get loose a little bit, just trying to get loose a little bit, and then I'll try to get behind the ball, and this is when my pre-shot routine starts. I get behind the ball, I get myself organized, I figure out where my spot is. I get up here, I set the club behind the ball, I take my grip, I get my stance right, I take a peek, I give myself a couple waggles, take another peek, one more peek, and off I go. I go, my club bounces. That's just the way, you know, I kind of fell into that with my club kind of bouncing, just to try to loosen my arms and keep my forearms loose and my shoulders and my chest and my back. You know, I need to feel loose. I need to feel jelly-like before I pull this club back, okay? Super, super important, okay? My entire pre-shot routine, once it starts, takes about 17 seconds, okay? So once again, once I start, I pick it out, I take a peek at it, I look at it real good, I walk up, I set my club down, I get my grip on, I get my stance, I take a peek, get a couple of waggles. Here we go. Set the club down, it bounces, and then I go, and we fire it down the pipe. Okay? That's a pre-shot routine. Seems like a lot, but it really isn't. It really isn't. It's something you need to do. You want to become more consistent? I want to see you have a good pre-shot routine. It'll take a lot of pressure off. It'll take a lot of stuff out of your head. It'll get you focused before your shot. Give it a try. I'm Carey Hodsden PGA with Common Sense Golf, and I will see you very soon.